will be discussing three projects. And what I would say is, as I said, you will pick, one or two projects from these three. So what I want, at least, pick this first project. So this is, you can talk a lot of things about this project. So I would say, study this project one document thoroughly and try to see if you can, put this project one for sure. Out of project two and project three, you think, okay, which one you want to pick. But I would say, the more weightage you give to, project one. Okay. Uh, Now, let me go ahead and talk about the project three. So this is, we will call it as ATM reporting dashboard. Now, every bank, so as the project name itself says, it is talking about certain ATMs. So every bank has the ATMs spread across, pan India, right? Now the management wants to, analyze the data about those ATMs. So we want to analyze the ATM data. Now, what do you think? Why it is important, and what are the things we want to look at in that? Anyone, any guesses? So just think about, ATM data you have it. What kind of issues or what kind of problems, you want to look at, or what insights you want to derive from that data. So I'm not talking now about data, but I want to see if you come with any suggestions, what it could be.
Ramesh here.
Yeah.
Hi, Shri. They could be interested in frequency of
Yeah, just
customers,
like
means the frequency of withdrawing money from ATM per customer and in a day,
getting
and
in one
might be in a month or
Okay. ATM
and
withdrawals you're saying?
yes, ATM withdrawals per day per customer,
Okay,
and
per day. Or we could say like average ATM withdrawal, depending on the requirement. Okay, that's fine.
yes,
location wise issues like withdrawal
Uh-huh.
issue or any complaints.
Okay, okay, perfect. So first of all, they want to look at how many
ATMs
number of ATMs are there, right? This is
right
one
number of
mistake.
as per locations.
Correct. So number of, yeah, so we can do that by location also. If we have location column where obviously the location will be there. Other thing could be number of complaints, as you're saying, correct?
Right.
Okay, so Rahul is saying any faults with the machine. Okay, so it could be the number of complaints. Like whenever we walk to a particular ATM, we see that it is out of service, right? So that we can say false, or that we can say it as the complaints. Okay.
And how much amount stored in each ATM?
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're saying Pooja talked about withdrawal. You're saying number of uh, sorry, amount of cash loaded. Can you say that?
Yeah, yes, each ATM.
Yeah, yeah. So this analysis, see, you think about, giving further management, they will not be interested in looking by each ATM, correct? So we can build a view for the senior management, and if anyone, the in charge of those ATMs by region, if they want to drill down, they can also do that. So in Tableau, we can, you know, use those actions. If you remember those actions, so in the first, you would say, okay, north, let's say north, south, east, west. So all these metrics will be at this level. Let's say if I click on south in the next table, I would see the different states, state-wise, all the states here. And if I click on particular state, let's say, Telangana, right? If I click on that, it will give me the list of cities which are having ATMs. If I click on particular city, in city also you would be having multiple ATMs, right? So when I click on a particular city or area or a zip code, pin code, at the bottom, you would see the list of ATMs. So it all depends, right? But senior management will not go and they will be interested on a high level what is happening, right? How many complaints do we have pan India? But a person who is responsible for that, they want to go and say, okay, which is that ATM, right? We can also do that. One more interesting thing which Krishna pinged in the chat is number of withdrawals made from other bank ATMs. Perfect. So it happens that the senior management wants to look at, okay, how many withdrawals are happening from the other bank customer. Let's say anyone can withdraw the money from any ATMs, right? Let's say if I'm going to an HDFC ATM machine and I have, let's say, ICICI debit card, I can go and withdraw it, right? But why do they need that metric? What do you think? Why do we need that metric? I would just say non-bank customers withdrawing. Number of non-bank customers withdrawing.
They will be getting money on that if they are using, means they will be charging from other banks customers if they are using their ATM, and so that's why might be they would be interested
Mm-hmm.
in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another, the sales strategy could be to see that a particular ATM is being used mostly by non-bank customer, right? So they might, think of, conducting some events in those regions nearby, and that could be the sales opportunity. We can tap by conducting those events and see if we can convert some of those customers to you know open an account with our bank, something like that. Or it could be they might also see that, okay, why the ATM is being used by non-bank customers. Did we place that ATM at the wrong location? It could be possible, right? So where are our customers in that location? So the whole idea is we want to, have the better customer experience, right? Why we are doing that, and it always happens with us also. If you go to any of the ATM, let's say you have HDFC debit card, if you go there and if you see that the ATM is out of service, and it always happens that that particular ATM, if it is always out of service, you will not have good experience, right? And we will always have that in our mind. Okay, this ATM, always it will be out of service. What's the use of that ATM? So we want to enhance the customer experience. So the customer should feel good about the services. So ATM is one of the thing they are targeting here. And it used to happen with me, like even if the ATM is working, even if the ATM, yeah, Ramesh.
Like a count of systems in one ATM.
Okay. Number of machines you are saying. So one ATM, let's say one branch is there. Over there, there could be multiple ATMs. That is what you're saying, right?
Right.
Number, yeah, but when we'll be looking, number of ATMs are there, but when we'll be looking at drill down by, at the branch level, these same metrics we will come to know by each branch also in the actions when we drill down. Any other thing you think it is important? Think you are the management, you are the executive, you are the in charge of the ATM span, and you want to do some kind of an analysis. So it could be number of security guards also, that could be one, right? So always it happens that some ATMs do not have the security personnel. So they want to see, how many security guards. So if they see that, okay, the number of ATMs are 100, security guards are 50, 60, that's an issue, right? So they want to have that enough security guards are there on those ATM at their ATM machines. Anything else, Ramesh?
Number of technicians, number of technicians involved if there is an issue.
Correct, yeah. So that could be, so you want to see, if there is anything wrong happens, let's say all the ATM machines got shut down across pan India. So
Right.
this
Due to
could,
Santa.
yeah, so this could turn out to be one of the key metric at a point of time. How many technicians we can manage? This could be one of the, critical metric, number of technicians we have. Okay, so one of the other thing Premdeep is saying amount struck while deposit. hmm Yeah. So,
So, will it be considered a number of servers which is connected for all the ATMs?
yeah, that will be too detailed. That will be
Okay.
like too detailed, but
We can, because
yeah,
it is not required for the branches, I hope.
correct, correct. Because these are non-technical guys, right? They don't know what are servers and all that. But
Right.
if we have, number of ATMs, how many ATMs, that will give a fair bit of idea. But thinking about server,
Right.
those hard disks, okay, how many, that will
I,
be too detailed.
I agree. Those are non-technical guys.
Right, right. Yeah. So another thing could be in ATMs also there are different types of ATMs, right? As Premdeep is saying, we can also deposit our money from certain ATMs. So he's talking about, um, do we have any complaints on depositing? So number of complaints could be many. One of the thing, one of the key metric we could have is number of times deposit got struck. Deposit money got stuck. This could be one of the criteria. Another thing. Okay, Anusha is saying how much knowledge do an individual have to use it, but how do we track that in the data? How the bank would track that? That is a good question, but how do the bank know that, if so and so person is having so and so knowledge? Obviously, they can go and conduct certain events, to guide or, to show certain demos, but how do we measure that?
So many CC cameras available in the each ATM. Means it maybe some of the ATMs may not have the CC cameras.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Number of CC cameras. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, Krishna is saying volume amount of cash being withdrawn area-wise, which can help increasing the limit in charge of cash loading for those area. Perfect. So we want to look at number of withdrawals. That means basically number of transactions which are happening by each day. Let me say number of transactions and amount. So this amount we have seen, like the number of ATM withdrawals, right? So this will help, okay, by each day, how many transactions are happening and how much amount is being withdrawn. If we have that picture, let's say, let's take a week, like Sunday, Monday until Saturday. So if we have, okay, each day on an average, if you look at the pattern, the trend, this is these many transactions, I would have some judgment. Okay, on Sunday these many transactions usually happen, and this is the amount which people withdraw if we add up everything. So this could be an insight for the vendors who load the cash, right? Because many times it happens, we go to the ATM machine and we enter all those, they say there is no cash. How would be the customer feeling at that time, right? So they can use these points and strategize, and they can manage those vendors. Okay, we know that, okay, during these days there will be a lot of transaction, lot of money will get withdrawn. Before that itself, the money has to be loaded, the cash has to be loaded into the machines. This can also be one of the important point. Yeah, how many transactions failed? Yes, how many transactions failed? Yes.
Can there be some criteria in the case when the machine retains card
Mm-hmm.
uh, with, and would that be counted in the complaints, or there
When
will
the, what was that, Pooja? Can you come again? When the machine,
keeps the card, that retain the card, uh, no transaction happens.
mm-hmm.
So what would can be immediately, how many such cases happen?
Yeah. So that can go into complaints. See, the complaints, this metric is, you know, we can derive multiple metrics from this one complaint also. Like what kind of complaint? You know, it could be we are clicking on a particular button on the ATM and it's not working. That could be one complaint. The card got stuck. That could be another complaint. The transaction happened, but I did not receive any money. That could be a complaint. So in the database, you would be having multiple types of, flags. Let's say complaint flag. So whenever any unusual thing happens, that will get automatically stored in the database table. So then we can do further analysis and pull that data and show different types of complaints. Yes. Because see, it happened with me once. I went to ATM and I withdrawn. Um, it showed the transaction is successful, but I did not get the money. I did not get the money. at the time. So what happened is after, not remember, after 10 days or 2 weeks, the money came into my account automatically. So how do they come to know for everything? Whatever we are pressing in the ATMs, whether it could be a balance inquiry or the mini statement or cash withdrawal, when you click on that button, right, immediately it will go it as one transaction internally. So what kind of transaction? It is a balance inquiry. So whatever we click on it, we don't know that okay, it is going and storing it as one entry.
Uh,
So you don't get
Srinu,
the money.
Srinu, I have a doubt here. So you are saying
Uh-huh.
that number of transactions which will be loaded. So here there is a balance inquiry is different, mini statement is different, pin change is different, like a
Mm.
fast cash or cash withdrawal. Cash withdrawal is different. So fast cash withdrawal is different. These all menu options are the different. When we drill down the number of transactions, will it get that bifurcation or will get only one number of transactions?
Yeah, yeah. So if you develop, if you take all those as different thing, yeah, we will get it. So basically, you should have those multiple metrics here.
Right, right,
What kind of, so on a high level, we are saying, okay, these many transactions. But if you get any requirement, as you said, okay, many statement or pin change, what kind of transaction is it? Not everyone going into ATM will withdraw the money, right? They want to
right,
say,
right,
okay, what our customers are using more frequently, what they are doing. They want to look at their behavior, right?
right,
So you would be having a column where it will get stored all those things like, okay, literally it will store like this, huh? So balance, inquiry,
mini
right?
statement.
Mini statement. So when you have
Pin
all
change.
these, yeah, all these data, you can compute a metric, right, for that. But it all
Right.
depends on the requirement.
And depending on the data available also.
Correct, correct. But mostly
If
what
we
I
have,
have seen,
we can
mhm,
create it. If we don't have that
correct,
particular data, we cannot create it, right?
correct, correct. Yes.
Right.
See, this is a live project, and I have seen the data, everything, all these columns will get stored. And what happens is every ATM will have an ATM ID. Okay. So if HDFC is having, let's say, Pan India 5,000 ATMs, how do we identify which ATM is where? So they give a unique number to the ATM. So whenever you go to any ATM, there will be a label over there, and it will be written ATM ID. So that is the unique ID. It will have the location. It will have, uh, all the city, country, state, all that information will be there on that ATM. So everything like, so when the transaction, there could be, in the data when the transactions are being done, right? Okay, one of the other important aspect which I will look at is if, what was that? It could be customer footfall. So what do we mean by customer footfall now?
So how many customers which is entered into that particular ATM to use that? But
Mm-hmm.
customer footfall will be considered in the branch. I hope ATM only based on number of transactions we can consider because customer may enter into the ATM but may not do any transaction. So will it be considered for the ATM because branch is not required the customer footfall? I hope.
Okay, okay. See, we can also derive. It's not like, we can derive that in the branch only. So whenever we talk about some footfall, we are talking about the time. We are talking about the time factor. That means the time range, saying if you have some clarity, let's say, out of 8 to 9, how many customer in the morning? So 8 to
Huh.
9, and then 9 to 10, then
That is
I'm
the
just giving an
duration.
example. So
Right,
whenever
right,
we talk about customer footfall, so at what times the customers are coming? Most of the customers are coming. So why this is important? If you have ever experienced, if you go to certain ATMs, it will always be crowded. There is a long queue, right?
right, right, right,
So what this will give the management the insights, okay, during these dates, there will be lot of queue. They can take a decision, okay, loading the money before that itself, right? Because
right,
there will be
right.
lot of queue. Another thing could be, if there is a lot of queue at particular city or at a location, they can try installing multiple ATMs, correct? So there's always one ATM in the branch. They can take a decision, okay, I will increase, one more ATM in that location, something like that. So
And
this will,
one more thing I have here, customer footfall, which you are saying that it is a derived based on number of transactions, right?
yeah, number of transactions, yeah, number of transactions will be coming here. Let's say during this time, 12.
How?
During this
Right.
time, 50. But how do we derive this timing now?
Time.
So in the data, we will be having a column called transaction date, right? Obviously, you went and
Right,
withdrawn today. Today's date will go into the database. It
right,
will
right,
also
right.
have which
Transaction
time.
date will be.
Yeah, transaction date time. So we'll in
Right.
that column we'll be having date as well as time. So for all the transactions which we have ATM data, we would be having the date and time, right? Now using this column, I can create these groups, right? I can create these groups by fetching the time from that and creating these bandings. Okay, how many transactions have been done between 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11. Any other question from anyone? Yeah. So this is how the requirement comes. So this is one of the product they are looking at. Okay, they want to do the analysis on the ATM. So the very first thing what you will do is when the requirement comes, when the BRD document comes, you know, you will think about, okay, you will understand the document, and if they will be giving all this information what they need. And as I said, sometimes it happens that if you're working in some companies and some teams, they will not give any BRD document. They would just say, okay, management would say, can you do some analysis on the ATM data? We want to, get some insights on that. You have to go and find where the data is. You have to, brainstorm what things I need. So no, in those kinds of profiles, no one will tell you, okay, give me how many number of ATM. No one will tell you how many transactions. No one will tell you to look at the customer footfall. So it's you who have to, brainstorm and come up with, okay, these are the things which I can, look at. But these ideas will come only when you look at the data. So in the data, you see, okay, these are the 15, 20 columns. Okay, I can use this column and build one metric by using those values within that column. I can use this column to build another metric. So those ideas will come only when you look at the data. And then the project, starts. You will start, do the analysis stuff, and then you will execute. Okay, these are the things I want. Then you will write the SAS code and create the data sets, right? And then finally, once everything is ready, you want to create some dashboards out of it, right? Uh, if I go back to this document, project 3, so in the similar way, I have created a document for this ATM reporting dashboard. So if we look at the introduction, so automated teller machine, ATM is an electronic communication device that enables customers of financial institutions to perform financial transactions such as cash withdrawals, deposit, transfer funds, or obtaining account information at any time and without the need of direct interaction with the bank staff. That is the benefit of the ATM, right? Just an intro. Now, to facilitate its customers, bank installs ATM machines across pan India. Senior management now wants to look at the report consisting of various metrics to see the performance of the ATMs, which is very critical, right, for any business or strategy decisions for the bank. And you know, and to get all this information into an Excel and do the count of transactions, summing up all the balances. So basically coming up with all those in the Excel will always be a manual task, right? So what is the goal? Goal is to create a dashboard which will help senior management to get insights on the functioning and performance of ATMs, which then be utilized for any business or strategic decision. Can tell these in the interviews. What are the different table? Let's say there is only one table here, and you have who is the customer, what is his account number, in which ATM ID, right? As I said, in which country, state, city, pin code. So these things will automatically, get loaded up. So whenever you walk to any of the ATMs, they know that okay, this ATM is present in so and so country, state, and city, right? It'll go and have that data inside that table, but we won't be able to see that. But in the data, you see all these fields. What is the pin code? What is the transaction type? What kind of transaction it is? Transaction status, transaction date, transaction amount, right? Security guard flag, ATM status code, whether the ATM is working or not working, right? And how much balance does that ATM has currently. All that information you will find it in the ATM data. Information, demographic information about the customer, if you want to find out, that is present in the customer data, like their contact number, the Aadhaar number, right? Date of birth, address, PIN code, when did the account got open, account open date, account close date. So basically, these are the two tables which are there here. You will write the SAS code to bring all that data together. So here, mostly, you would see it is like the number of ATMs. We are talking about the count and the sum, right? So mostly, you will be using proc SQL and saying group by, or you can use proc freq to count proc frequency procedure because it involves number, coming out with counting of those transactions, summing up the balances. For creating those band, the customer footfall timing, you will use some date functions and fetch the timing, and you will do the banding. Okay, if the time falls between, if the time between, you will use the between operator 8 to 9, then you will create one banding. Okay, 8-9 a.m. If the nil statements, you will write it. If the time falls between so and so, then you will say the other band of timing. Basically, you will group those times and then create a column called customer footfalls. So that is the business logic. So you will write some code for that. Let's say in the interview they might ask, okay, what are the different types of reports you have created in Tableau? So you can say, okay, this is the table which we have created where we are showing all the different metrics. And the second one could be, customer footfall, average customer footfall in each of these timings, right? We can also create some other charts, like the management might be interested in what are the top 10 ATMs based on average number of transactions, which are the top 10 ATMs. Top 10 ATMs which are being used mostly by non-bank customers. Example, Axis Bank are using HDFC ATM, right? So you want to, get insights on that also. Number of ATMs by geography. So you could create, so this one is a good data to use that map. So we have learned how do we create a geographical map in Tableau. So this data would be good to create a map. So you can create an India map, and then different states, and what are the different metrics you can store or you can show in that map. You can drag the number of transaction, you can drag number of the balances, or if they want, okay, by each state how many complaints, you can track the complaints onto the color, right? So the more the darker, the more the complaints the executive can look at in that way, right? So this data is good for creating the map because you have all those countries, state, city, and all that stuff. Another chart could be cash reserves in ATM to check if you are good with loading the enough cash into ATM. So how much is the cash loaded onto the ATMs, right? Total number of out of service ATMs. So you can, create a map, and on that map by each state and city, you can show out of service ATMs, customer footfall by ATM, supply demand analysis. They can do it, right? Total number of fraud activities reported month on month. You can also do that. Top regions, states where too many fraud cases reported. That could also one of the chart in the dashboard. So why I mentioned this is, you can pick, some of the charts, which you can talk about, and you have to prepare accordingly. So let's say if they talk about, okay, total number of fraud activities reported, you can talk about that, right? So there should be a column. So how do we identify that it is a fraud? Okay, for each and every transaction, there would be a flag whether that is a fraud or not, right? When you have that flag, you can pull the fraud data and do the frequency and find out by each month how many fraud activities. So for each and every question, think about the data preparation also. Huh? Think about the data preparation and the underlying SAS code you might write to get that data. So these are the different charts. So some interview questions and what to put in CV. So you worked as a data analyst, you can say that. Worked as a SAS data analyst to analyze all the ATM's data and to provide valuable feedback to the senior management. So this information will be relied upon to assess the ATMs, which in turn help to implement various strategic decisions for the bank. This is the description. So responsible for completely understanding the ATM's data, responsible for coming up with insights from the data and report it to the senior management, right? So when they will look at these bullet points, so be prepared with what you will be talking, okay? So you have all this information, okay, what you are responsible for. So keep that in mind when, if they ask something on those lines. So developed various reports which include some of the key metrics like top ATMs based on volumes, type of customers using ATMs most, maps to show ATMs performance pan India, fraud activities file, etc. involved in various ad hoc requirements like finding out customers' footfall to ATM centers as to analyze the peak hours, right? And all these are the common ones, like the requirements gathering, the Tableau stuff, right? What kind of different procedures you have used, all these things. Any question? Let me stop here. And as I said, pick any two. So what do you think out of let me ask everyone out of these three, what are the two things which everybody felt are interesting and good to go and easy to explain? You can ping in the chat or you can talk, that's fine. Which two projects you felt? Yes.
Shinu, I think first and third are much better.
Okay. So I'm just looking in the chat. One and three. Okay. So that branch manager analysis and ATM. Two and three. Anusha is saying two, three. One and three. One and two. Okay. So the responses differ. Okay. But what I would say is, you are free to pick any of these two. You have these documents, right? You have these documents and put these in your CVs. And you can send across to me and Ram. We will have a look at that, right? And we will suggest for any changes. I know like Anusha, some of the people have sent, Pooja had sent it. So first thing is you decide uh, which projects you will pick from this. Any two, update your CV thoroughly and send it back to Ram and me. I'll have a look at it and I will suggest, even I'll also have a word with Ram and we will suggest, okay, what are the changes you need to do if there are any. But before that, understand these projects thoroughly, prepare it. So I would say take down the paper and note down, okay, what are the things you will talk about it. And you have all this information. It took a lot of time for me to create, all these things. But I hope it is helping you and go through it thoroughly. So read this document 2 to 3 times, then you will, remember what are the things you can talk. So you have the interview questions also, right? So be prepared as if the interviewers are asking that question and literally note down in a paper and think about the SAS codes also, what kind of different functions, how did you proceed, how did you connect it to the database, everything which you have learned in SAS, those things will come into the picture. And then think about, okay, how did you go about Tableau dashboard? Because see, what they will do is when you will put this, right, they will not go into deep asking you to write the SAS codes, okay? No one will ask you. But obviously, if I am the manager, interviewer who is taking the interview, first thing I will, because I don't know about this project which you're talking, so I'll try to get some information from you more about this project. So they ask, can you talk about this project? What kind of data you have used? Who are the users? What is the purpose of this project? Right? So once they understand, right, basis on your response, they will counter attack. Okay, how did you do this? So we need to be very well prepared for any questions if they ask.
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in case only for Tableau going to for interview, any series are there?
Sorry. Can you come again? I did not understand.
I am
Tableau?
going, I am going to interview for only for Tableau basis.
Uh-huh.
So in case any series are there,
Yeah. So for
samples.
tab. Okay. Okay. So for Tableau also, what you will do, put the Tableau stuff only. So if you are showing you have worked only on Tableau, so you say that, the same project, you say that these tables were there in the databases, or this data was there in the raw data files. But I would say whenever we talk about banking data, good to say that these are present in the databases, okay? Because no bank would store all this account related data in an Excel file, right? Everything will flow into the database. So what you can say is, Paramesh, all this data, you can still talk about this project, and you can say that all this data was present in the database. You got the requirement to build a dashboard for the business, and then you can talk about these dashboards section. Okay, you have created these. You have, for the interview standpoint, you can pick these things. See, you can pick this point like responsible. So there are some points related to the dashboard creation. So responsible for developing monthly management dashboards, right? And you can also give this also, right? You will always gather the requirements, what they want in the dashboards, right? You'll not put these SAS codes thing.
Okay.
So what company am I supposed to put?
Any company, sir. Just sample I want because I am searching for only for Tableau jobs.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm how to prepare the resume.
Right, right, yeah. So what I'm saying is you will update your CV, pick any of these two projects, and you say that you have developed those dashboards.
Okay.
One query.
Yeah.
I noticed in the other series which you shared, they have put a lot of other things as ODS, as Connect. So we have covered it in the SAS Studio, or means they. I read about them. Are these on the Google? These are separate tools. People have added it in the CV, so I added it as well by reading one or two liner on the Google that this tool does this tool does this.
Which
So
one
will
you
it
say? Yeah, ODS.
ODS was written SAS, Connect was written SAS, slash Access was written. So is it that we are loading data through those files, or we have in the
No,
using
no,
SAS Studio, or those are separate softwares?
those are not the softwares. Those are some of the commands from SAS. So ODS is output. Sorry.
It was something we can present data in different formats,
Output,
HTML and
yeah, correct, correct. So let's say you are doing proc print. You are aware of proc print, right? Let's say you are doing this. Now, when we run this, this will go to the output window. But sometimes if you want this to be exported to an HTML, in SAS we write this ODS HTML. ODS HTML file is equal to, so you would say in the E drive under projects, I want, emp.html. So we also close this ODS HTML close. So this is for creating an HTML page. We can also create by using ODS, we can also create PDF file. Sometimes the report management wants, okay, can you give it in the PDF? So we can also do that by using. So that's why, in some of the CVs you would see this ODS. Now, other thing which you're saying is connect, right? Connect and access. So
SaaS,
that is
tablet.
SaaS
So I read
connect.
some. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is also a SaaS code only. So how do we connect to any database from SAS? I'm sure you must have learned about this. That is what that is. So proc SQL, here you will mention, connect to Oracle. You would say you'll give some name obviously to the connection. You would say what is the user, what is the password, what is the database path, right? Once you do this, you would write this. So I think Ram must have talked about this for sure. You will write those commands to pull the data from that data. So this is called that proc connect, that connect which you see. So this is the way, if you have any database, whether it is SQL or Access or anything, from using proc SQL, you can connect to any database and pull the data. So here you must have learned something like this. Select star from employee, and you must have created a table, create table, something
Yes,
like this.
those things are covered that we are fetching data from some tables. I was curious to know whether we will learn these new tools or this is the part of that SAS Studio which
Okay.
we have already covered, but we are using different command to access that kind of the data. So,
Right, right, right. Yeah, those are not different tools. Those are the SAS syntaxes.
as all the things which are mentioned in the CVs, those are all the different syntaxes which we can
Yes.
do using SAS Enterprise Edition or through SAS Studio.
Yeah, correct, correct, correct. So those bullet points which I have created, those are meant for SAS plus Tableau profile. Okay. So everything in SAS. So don't think about any other tool. Okay.
Okay. Shrinu, then we need to things which we are entering that like SAS ODS, SAS Access. So we should be aware about all these stuff.
Correct, correct.
And
So
we should have
see,
those.
correct. See, what will happen now is, if I want to tell you what the process should be, you know, you all have put a lot of efforts in learning SAS and Tableau. So now you have to plan well. Now, how do we plan well is what I would say is, you know, revise SAS. So maybe you can target, 15 to 20 days, you revise this, or it could be 1 month also. Okay, everything. So when I say revise SAS, all the concepts plus, the theory plus the code wise, you revise everything. Uh, After you do that, you revise Tableau, and Tableau will not take much time. Let's say 10 to 15 days. You revise everything of Tableau. Now, meanwhile, when you are doing this, let's keep a target within 1 month. You will do both these tasks depending on your availability. I'm not, forcing anyone, but you keep a target. Let's say one month, 1.5 month. These things you revise first. Now, within this time period, you have 1 month time. Within that 1 month time, you spend parallelly time on creating the CV. So don't wait, you will create the CV after one and a half month. So parallelly, couple of days, you can work on creating those CVs, and you can send to Ram, and you can send to me, Mark, me also. We can have a look at that as well, and we can give you some inputs if you want to, update some of the things in your CV. Now, at the end of 1 month or 1.5 month, you will be thorough with the revision of these. You have your CV, then I would say go and upload your CVs. Upload your CVs. Where do you upload? Onto all those Naukri, all the job portals like Naukri, Monster, Time Job. You can put it under LinkedIn. You can put it under Shine. So there are a lot of sites where you can go, you can create your account and upload your CVs. Okay. Now, because, and having said that, if you're already prepared, so some of you might be very comfortable in SAS and Tableau, I would say don't wait for it. You can go and upload your CV. But if you're not 100% prepared, and if you go and upload your CV, surely you will get some calls. And if you're not prepared, you will lose that opportunity. That is only my concern. That's why I'm saying you prepare well, because in the interview they will ask, your technical skills, as well as, they'll try to see if you know the things well or not. But having said that, if you are comfortable in SAS and Tableau, you don't have to revise it. You go and upload your CVs on all these portals. And then, is there any question from anyone?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, Vamshi. Yeah.
So is it compulsory to always put a project in the CV? Is it not sufficient that when we tell them like in the CV we have worked on these commands?
No, because they will be looking for some projects for you to work on. Otherwise, they will feel like you just have a theoretical knowledge, you have learned it. That's it.
Okay,
Putting the projects would help them understand that, okay, you have actually, you know, worked on those projects and you know how to work on. So they'll get some confidence on it. So it's better to put the projects, Vamshi.
okay, sir.
Yeah, so that was the main objective, why Ram told me to conduct these sessions, because many a times it happens, without having the projects in your CVs, it becomes very difficult to get a job.
Okay.
So yeah, so put couple of projects and say that, yeah, you have worked on those projects, and as I said, be prepared with those projects. Okay. So
Yeah.
once you prepare those CV, one of the important thing is you will upload it. You will upload it, and then when you get an interview call, let's say, when you get an interview call,
So how many
before.
days? Sorry,
Mhm.
go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, okay, yeah. So before going, let's say you got an interview call and you have that CV. So prepare well on the CV. Huh? Always we try to ignore the CV. Prepare on the CV. So now what do we mean by prepare on the CV? So go through your CV on each and every point, and you ask certain question to yourself. Okay, what are the different questions you might expect from them? So literally be prepared. Okay, they'll ask, okay, what is your, can you introduce yourself? So literally write down on a paper what you will be talking about to summarize your entire profile. They'll be asking, okay, what are the different projects? So before they ask, you have the set of questions on that document. Be prepared thoroughly on that. Yeah, Vamshi, you had a question.
So I know this is a very vague question, but how long does it take once you upload the resume to get a call? So if you're looking for a job only in Hyderabad, so how long does it take if you have any idea?
Yeah, so it depends, but generally people get those calls within a week's time or 10 days. It all depends on the requirement. But
Uh-huh.
I was about to tell that trick. It's good that you have asked it. See, now we don't know. That is a tricky question.
Like,
How frequently, we will get the calls. But what, I used to follow is, let's say you have uploaded your CVs onto this. You have created an account and did that. Um, but we have to go and modify it very frequently. So what do you mean by go and modify it frequently? Let's say, Vamshi.
like upload the CV once in a week. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. And not uploading, but why do we think that helps? Any logic?
It
Uh,
comes
Okay, okay, hmm
on the that might be the reason.
Yeah, Pooja, we did not get your voice is breaking. Can you come again?
I was saying to bring it on the top. We are a bit.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's say, you have created your account today, 21 Feb. In all these portals, okay, in all these portals, you have uploaded your CV. Now, there will be companies, the HRs and the consultancies who will be looking, for these kinds of. So what they do is generally in the companies, they will go to Naukri and they will search for certain keywords. So they will search for, let's say they are looking for SaaS and Tableau. So they will search for these keywords like this, SaaS or Tableau in the search criteria, and they will get list of CVs. Let's say they got, you know, 200 CVs. Okay, and they will go and filter where the requirement is. Let's say they want candidate who want for Hyderabad. So when they apply that filter on this 200, so they'll have those filters, okay, on that tool. So when they apply those filters, let's say you got 50, then they will apply some experience range. Then they will apply if they're, looking for any salary band, CTC from this to this. So they will apply all these things and download those CVs, and they will look at the CVs and, call them. Now, if those HRs and consultancies are going in this way, let's say you have uploaded your CV on 21 Feb, but you have not been active. Let's say, the HR or consultancy is looking on in June. On June 1st, they got some requirement and they went to Naukri, applied all these filters, but they see that, your CV was last updated on 21 Feb. Your profile, basically, your profile was last logged in and updated on 21 Feb. Will they be interested, first of all? So the chances are very low in this case because, last you have updated in 21, in the Feb, we are in June month now. I am not sure if that candidate is still looking for a change or not. So what they generally do is there will be one more filter where they would see the profiles which have been updated less than, you know, a 30 days or less than a week or 10 days. So this will give them that confidence, right? Okay, these are the people who might be looking for a job. I will not go and look for, 4 month, 5 month old guy, right? So what we have to do, this is one of the trick. So create your profiles, upload your CVs after each week. So give a gap of, I used to do it for every 3, 4 days. Huh? I used to do that. So what we have to do is once you create it, you just have to log into that site and there will be a profile and you click on the edit. So you don't have to do any changes. You just click on the edit and save. So there will be last modified by will change, modified date. It will change to today's date. So you go and explore that, you will find that edit option over there in your profile. You don't have to change anything. Go and click on the edit and save it. Last modified by will change to the latest date, to the today's date. So you have to do the same trick in each and every site. So when you do that, you would see that, for next 3 to 4 days, you will get the calls for sure. That is what I have experienced. But if you delay, if you're not that much active, you have, updated your CV on that portal 2 months back, don't expect any calls. It will be very rare. Any questions on this? So follow this trick. When I used to do it, like, I used to get the calls for, 3 to 4 days, then, you know, it would have been very low. The calls would have dropped after 3, 4 days. Then again, I would log into that, click on edit and update again for next 3, 4 days. I used to get calls. So this is what I used to do. Can follow the same trick. So don't wait for, okay, the calls are not coming. So you follow these techniques, and I'm sure, at least interviewers would reach out to you. You will attend certain interviews, right? And don't get motivated if you're not through in 1 or 2 interviews. So keep on updating, keep on revising, and you will get through for sure if you're very well prepared. And other hint, other tip I could give is, let's say you got a call for, Cognizant. They're looking for SAS and Tableau. So go to the internet, go to Google and search, interview questions. This is also you can do interview questions for SAS in Cognizant. So what happens is there will be a lot of people who have attended the interviews in the past. They will keep on uploading, posting certain interview questions and the answers, how you can answer them. You will also get a lot of help from that. So any company, you go, you do the background work, and you also do, okay, the background about that company. That company is majorly into what? Sometimes the interviewer also asks, okay, why do you want to, come to our company? So pick certain points, you know, up to talk about, the good things about that company, right? What they are into, the business. So basically understanding, okay, what they are into. That will give the impression you've just not come just to attend the interview, just like any other interview. So they know that, okay, this guy is very well prepared.
They will ask for syntax of SAS, as well as they will ask for the code as well, to write the code at that
Yes.
particular moment.
Some interviewers might ask on the call they will not ask you to write, but they will say, okay, how do you write this, let's say proc print. So you just have to say, okay, proc print data is equal to, right, run semicolon. If they ask, okay, how do we do the sum, you can use sum function. How do you, they might, okay, how do you know how to sort? So I would say, in the telephonic interview, they will not ask you in detail on the code, but they'll try to, check if you know that. They'll not ask you
Mm-hmm.
in detail. So they would say, okay, given these two tables, what is the approach you will take to join those two tables? So what you would say, okay, first I will sort those two data sets. I will write a data step by using merge statement and try to merge it on a basis on common core. When you say this, right, they will judge. Those people are very smart. They will judge. Okay, this person knows. And it all depends on the interviewer also, Pooja. If they have like face-to-face interviews, some interviewers might also ask you to write some small program. They'll not ask you to write lengthy program. They'll give you some scenarios, short scenarios, and ask you, okay, how do you write the program for this? They'll also do that. So that's why that is my main intent. That's why I was saying spend enough time in revising the SAS and Tableau because you might expect any questions.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to know now whether company prefer face-to-face interview or interview over telephone because I am from Kolkata and mainly analytics companies reside in Bangalore, Pune,
Hmm.
Hyderabad. So
Yeah.
will,
Yeah. Yeah.
will that
See,
be a problem?
no, no, no. So most of the time nowadays everything is happening telephonic. Okay. Everything, like I would say 90% is happening in the telephonic, but there will be some companies, their culture would be different. They believe in, looking at the candidate. So what they'll do is everyone will do the telephonic for sure, but there will be some companies, they will call you for the final round for face to face. But the chances are very low, like 10% of those companies.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it all depends on that because there will be some companies, some teams, some managers, they want to see the candidate. So in those cases, they might call you from Kolkata to Bangalore.
Yeah, because I got two calls from some Bangalore company and they told whether I can come to Bangalore for the face-to-face interview. Otherwise, it is not possible to take interview. That's why
Hmm.
I asked that is that will be a problem now.
Correct, correct, correct. Yeah, so there will be some companies for sure. So it always happens in this way, right? If there is any company, you know, they want to they want to see the candidate for the face instead of doing, that is their culture. Like, they want to meet that candidate personally and have that interaction with them. And for that face to face, if your interview is done right, if your technical rounds, telephonic, and all those were done right, the face to face will just have formality. Okay. So they just want to look at the candidate. They want to just, feel, how the candidate is behaving or, the communication part. So that will be, a formality in the face
But
to face.
the communication should be judged over telephone also
Yeah,
because
but yeah, yeah, but why those companies? Because that could be a dummy candidate also, right? On the telephone, we never know who is talking.
okay. And I also asked for the interview over Skype, but they said no, it's not possible because in that case they can meet me face to face, but
Hmm.
they said no, it's not possible.
Yeah, see, it all depends on that company policies, the trust which they have. You know, it all depends. So few companies might agree to your point. Why can't we do Skype? But few companies, they believe in, meeting face to face, and then only they will release the offer letter.
And I
You will find.
saw, yeah, and I saw in some company they prefer local candidate. Like if that company is in Bangalore, then they prefer the Bangalore candidate, and if that company is in Hyderabad, then they prefer the Hyderabad candidate. Like this.
Hmm.
So
Right, right, right. But yeah, but see, there will be two sides always. So they might not getting any candidate in Bangalore. What they will do, they will go and hire it from anyone, right? That will not be an issue. And what I have seen is in today's world, that is not an issue for sure. Because nowadays people are ready. If there is good opportunity, they are ready to work from anywhere.
okay, okay.
But obviously, the opportunities are more if we talk about like Hyderabad, if we talk about Bangalore, if we talk about Mumbai, the opportunities are more in even in Pune, right? These are the hubs, I would say.
Yeah, I know that there is no such opportunity in Kolkata. That's why I just want to shift. But without any job, how can I do that? That's
Right, right. But what you can do is, let's say, everything is happening in the telephonic round, let's say. And if you are okay to, shift to any of these cities, you will be having those telephonic interviews. And
Hmm.
if everything is done, if they say that for face to face, there is no wrong in, going and traveling, because it's
Hmm.
all about your career, right? So just
Hmm.
have
Hmm.
to go there. And you can convince them also. Like, I don't know anyone in that city. Can you help out for my stay? Some companies do that also.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I hope these sessions might have helped you. So the next target for you is, revise those things as I said and work on the CVs. I know some of you have sent the CVs. I will have a look at and revert on that. And you can also have a word with Ram. Okay, these are the projects, these are the CVs. You can take some inputs from him also. Okay, even I will also have a word with him. Yeah. Okay, so try to work on those CVs and drop me an email if you need any help. Some of you have, sent already. I will have a look at them and, get back to you. Okay, so we will end today's session and end this project session. I hope it helped you. Then, so on the next steps, I will tell Ram to update you all what will be there as the next steps. Yeah. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining.